Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something significant, a major shift in power back in the 7th century.
Yeah, a huge one. We're looking at how the Byzantine Empire, the continuation of Rome in the East, suddenly found itself facing this, incredibly rapid expansion from the early Arab Caliphate.
Exactly. We've got some great sources here, and our mission really is to understand how this happened so quickly. How did this emerging power manage such massive territorial gains against, the established superpower of the region?
And we'll be focusing on the military side, of course, but also the socio-political factors, because it's never just about the battles, is it?
No, it never is. But if we had to pick one moment, one battle that just screams turning point, it's got to be Yarmouk, right? 636 AD.
Oh, absolutely. Yarmouk is central. The sources paint it as the decisive clash in the early Arab-Byzantine wars. Even though accounts differ on numbers, the consensus is the Muslim Arab forces won a, staggering victory against a potentially larger Byzantine army.
Staggering is the right word. It fundamentally redrew the map.
It did. And look, these conflicts, they actually spanned centuries, right up to the 11th. But those initial conquests in the early 7th century, that's what established the caliphate as a major force and really marked the beginning of the end for Byzantine control over places like Syria and Egypt.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Before the caliphate even becomes this major external threat, the Byzantines seem vulnerable. What was going on inside the empire? Why were they maybe ripe for this kind of challenge?
That's the crucial starting point. You can't understand the Arab success without seeing the Byzantine weakness. And number one, just sheer exhaustion.
Exhaustion from what?
Decades, literally decades, of grinding, incredibly destructive wars against the Sasanian Persian Empire. Think World War I level attrition, but ancient world style. It drained their manpower, their treasury, everything.
So they were already weakened financially and militarily before this new power even emerges on their southern border.
Precisely. They were running out empty, and then add disease to the mix.
Oh, the plague.
Yeah, the plague of Justinian hadn't been that long ago in historical terms. Its recurring waves had absolutely devastated the population centers, crippled the economy, reduced the tax base, thinned the army ranks. I mean, it's hard to overstate the impact.
Right, so you've got a state weakened by war, then hollowed out by disease. It's like a perfect storm brewing.
Exactly, and it gets worse internally. You also had significant political instability, emperors being overthrown, internal revolts, a lack of cohesion.
So no strong, unified leadership to face the crisis.
Not consistently, no.
Yeah.
And the empire was huge, remember. They were overstretched, trying to defend multiple frontiers. They just couldn't concentrate enough force in the east when the Arab army started pushing seriously.
Okay, so that's the picture of Byzantium, weakened, depleted, politically messy, and stretched thin. Now let's flip the coin. What made the Arab forces so effective? What gave them the edge?
Well, first and foremost, you have this incredible sense of unity and purpose. Under the Prophet Muhammad and then the first caliphs, the Rashidun, you see the tribes of Arabia brought together, politically and religiously unified.
That kind of cohesion must translate into serious morale on the battlefield.
Immense morale, a shared belief system, a common goal. That's a powerful motivator. But it wasn't just spirit. Their military approach was, very effective for the conditions.
How so? Were they just better soldiers?
Not necessarily better in every way, but their tactics were perfectly suited. They often faced larger imperial armies, yes, but they emphasized speed, coordination, and shock. Think light cavalry.
Mobility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Highly mobile forces that could strike quickly, maneuver rapidly, and exploit weaknesses. Very different from the more static, heavy infantry focus the Byzantines often relied on.
And they didn't just stick to land, did they? I remember reading they developed a navy surprisingly quickly.
They did. That's a key point often overlooked. They understood they needed to challenge Byzantine sea power in the Mediterranean. Building naval capabilities allowed them to support coastal campaigns, raid islands, and secure vital ports. It shows some serious strategic thinking early on.
Fascinating. And wasn't there an economic angle too? Something about trade routes?
Yes, some sources definitely point to underlying economic tensions. Things like Byzantine restrictions on Arab traders, disputes over trade routes. These issues likely added fuel to the fire. It wasn't just about religion or territory. Economic factors probably played a role in motivating these campaigns too. You mix that with the unity and the tactics.
And you get a potent force for expansion. Okay, let's zoom back in on Yarmouk, 636 AD, the big one. Lay out the scene for us. What happened?
Okay, so Yarmouk fought near the Yarmouk River. basically on the border of modern Syria and Jordan. You have the main Rashidun Caliphate army under the command of Khalid ibn al-Walid. We'll definitely talk more about him facing a massive Byzantine force, possibly commanded or at least overseen by Emperor Heraclius himself.
This was the empire striking back, trying to stop the invasion cold.
It was meant to be the decisive counterattack, but it turned into a decisive defeat, an absolute catastrophe for the Byzantines.
And the immediate result?
The immediate result was the complete loss of Syria. The Byzantine field army was shattered, and there was nothing left to defend the province. It just collapsed into Arab hands.
Wow. And then Egypt followed soon after.
Very soon. Around 640, 641. Losing Egypt was another hammer blow as the empire's breadbasket, a huge source of grain and taxes. Losing Syria and Egypt in just a few years, that fundamentally crippled the Byzantine state in the east.
Just staggering losses. But Yarmouk wasn't the first major victory, was it? Didn't Firaz come before?
Good point. Firaz, around 633 or 634, was really significant. It was fought in Mesopotamia, and the Arab forces defeated a combined army of Byzantines and Persians.
Both superpowers at once.
Exactly. Beating them both together sent a powerful message. It boosted Arab confidence massively and showed they could take on the established powers. It really paved the way for the larger invasions of Syria. Kind of a proof of concept, you could say.
Okay, now we have to talk about the general, Khalid ibn al-Walid. The sources describe him as a military genius. What made him so effective, especially at Yarmouk?
Khalid is, well, legendary for a reason. His tactical brilliance at Yarmouk is a masterclass. First off, strategic concentration. He saw the Muslim forces were a bit scattered initially. He strongly advised pulling them all together into one strong defensible position near the Yarmouk plains. This wasn't just defensive. It forced the Byzantines to engage him on ground he chose, ground that favored his mobile tactics.
Smart. Dictating the terms of the battle. What about his cavalry? You mentioned mobility.
That was his ace, mobile cavalry mastery. He commanded this elite, highly mobile mounted guard. Think of it as a rapid reaction force. He used them brilliantly throughout the battle, plugging gaps, hitting weak spots, and crucially, neutralizing the Byzantine cavalry advantage.
Taking out their own mobile arm.
Precisely. Leaving the Byzantine infantry more vulnerable. And then, on the final day, the killing blow. The flanking maneuver.
Ah, the classic pincer move.
Sort of, but incredibly bold. He launched a two-pronged attack specifically against the Byzantine left flank. His cavalry hit it hard, enveloped it, and just broke it. That collapse on the flank caused chaos and panic that rippled through the entire Byzantine line.
Utter disarray. But winning the battle's one thing, ensuring the enemy can't recover is another.
And Khalid was ruthless about that. Blocking retreats. This is key. He anticipated where the defeated Byzantines would try to escape towards ravines and a river.
Okay.
Under the cover of night, before the final push even, he sent detachments to secure the key escape routes, the bridges, the paths. So when the Byzantine line broke, they ran right into a trap.
Oh, wow. So they were completely pinned in.
Completely.
Yeah.
It turned a defeat into an annihilation. Massive casualties, no chance to regroup, just brutal, decisive effectiveness.
Even their camp setup was clever, wasn't it? Something about camels.
Huh, yes. Defensive preparations. Seems basic, but brilliant. They used herds of camels to form part of their camp's defensive perimeter.
Camels? How did that work?
Well, horses, especially cavalry horses, are often spooked by camels. They don't like the smell, the sight. It created a barrier that Byzantine cavalry would be very reluctant to charge directly. It helped protect the Muslim infantry and archers within the camp. Simple, but it worked.
Incredible. And all this tactical brilliance combined with that high morale you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Contrast that with the Byzantine side, where sources mention infighting among commanders, low morale, and a lack of unified purpose. Khalid's leadership provided that psychological edge too.
Okay, so pulling it all together for everyone listening, what's the big takeaway here? Why did this happen?
It really was a perfect storm, like you said earlier. You had profound Byzantine weakness, the exhaustion from the Persian Wars, the devastation from the plague, internal political problems being overstretched.
A system under immense strain.
Immense strain. And that collided with this newly unified, highly motivated Arab force driven by religious and political conviction and led by exceptionally brilliant military commanders like Khalid ibn al-Walid using innovative and effective tactics. Weakness met strength in genius.
And the consequences reshaped the world.
Fundamentally. These conquests in the early 7th century redrew the map of the Mediterranean and the Middle East. The Arab Caliphate became the dominant power in the region for centuries. establishing new centers of power, culture, wealth. It's a pivotal moment in world history.
Absolutely. The world we know today is partly shaped by those few decades.
No question.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. Despite losing Syria, Egypt, North Africa, catastrophic losses, the Byzantine Empire didn't completely collapse. They held on to Anatolia, the Balkans, Greece. They even survived 2 massive Arab sieges of Constantinople itself later in that century and the next.
They did. The capital held.
So, given that resilience, despite the initial shattering defeats, what was it about Constantinople? What enduring strength, maybe geographical, maybe technological, like Greek fire, maybe political, allowed the remaining Byzantine Empire to stabilize that frontier and hold out against the caliphate for another, 400 years? Something to think about for next time, perhaps?